Welcome to a story-driven Impact, ladies and gentlemen. This was very surprising. Not only did we get a story from TNA, we actually got a very good build for Slammiversary. I know a lot of people are going to say, dude, are you a little loose in the head? Well, admittedly, I am taking some allergy medicines because this weather has been killing me. But if you take away from me possibly being loopy, I say that this is a better product that we've seen in a while from TNA. Normally, their story driving has been very bad. They focus on maybe one story, if you're lucky two. They rarely go beyond that. In this case, we got about maybe 4 stories, nearing 5, which I felt was good to see. More on, out of those possible 5 stories, 3 of them were well built. Let's get into the bromance. I gotta get this over with right now with Raquel. She's good looking. She's good looking. She's good looking. That's the only thing I care about when it comes to Jessie and Robbie E. I'm not a fan of Robbie E and Jessie Goddard. I don't think they're 100% bad talents. I don't. As much as people don't want to hear about Robbie, there are moments that he does have the ability to shine. It's rare, but they're there. I believe when it comes to Jessie, instead of just being called the man, he should have been called the Adonis. You can have more than one person call themselves the Adonis. Come on, Chris Masters or Chris Malinsky or Polinsky, I can't remember his name, who is from GFW. If I'm right, Global Force Wrestling. Yeah, that's right. I'm a little loopy right now. I took some very strong medicine for my allergies, ladies and gentlemen, and if I seem a little off, I'm sorry. But Jessie could have been called the Adonis. He's got a good looking body. But I've never cared about him that much. I never cared about Robbie E, who pretty much fucked over Jay Lethal a couple of times in the storylines. I always thought Jay Lethal was better than Robbie E. That's just me. But in the end, having them with Raquel isn't bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. Now, we get a match between them and Rockstar Spud and Tyrus. They really need to do something with Tyrus. They need to change him. He could do something interesting with the Abyss. I've said this. Put the boys together and let them tear through the tag team division. It'll probably be better. And in this case, when you see this match, I know it's very cheesy. A lot of people are not going to like it. But Raquel did what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to distract. She bends her ass over and shows her ass to a man that probably would stick something in there very happily. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for talking dirty, but it needs to be stated. This is not a PG show. Well, below PG show like the WWE. This is TNA. They're willing to show the tits and ass. They are. And I was alright seeing that. In the end, Bromance wins, and now they're going to go up against Decay because this was a match to set up for Slammiversary. I'm okay with that. We need something for the Decay to do. Now, let's do the Decay part. Decay dealing with Drew Galloway and Lashley. Beforehand, Lashley faced off on Bram. And that's a main-driven storyline. Lashley and Drew Galloway. They've been building that up to Slammiversary, which has actually been pretty good. I've been very interested in it. Then they throw Bram into the mix, which that's another story that they've had. They really have been neglecting a lot of. But now you actually have Bram deal with Lashley, the King of the Mountain title versus a former world heavyweight champion, which makes Bram look good. On top of that, Bram does not need to job. He gets kicked in, well, he didn't get kicked in the nut. He got hit in the gut with a chair, and I'm happy to see this. Our King of the Mountain champion didn't need to job to a former world heavyweight champion. And then what do we get? We get Eli Drake. Eli Drake. I usually go Eli Drake. Eli Drake. He wins the damn King of the Mountain title. Yes. He hasn't been built very well. The Facts of Life is in a bad segment, but it needed something extra. Now it will have something extra because he's now King of the Mountain champion. I was okay that he didn't win it first, I was glad to see Bram get a little bit off on him. And in the end, he still wins. And that segment afterwards, that's Eli Drake right there. The master of the universe, Eli Drake, shows how he dominates in the back. Getting champagne handed to him, a woman running her ass on, oh, here. Anybody wants some champagne? Knocks it out of that damn hand. You ain't getting shit. This is my time. This is my time. And then he ends up being by himself in a room, which I hope maybe there might have been a woman in there. Just everyone saying there ain't nobody in there. There had to be someone in there. Maybe Cherry Bomb. That's just me. But in the end, I am glad to see Eli Drake get the title. It'll give us something to do going into Slammiversary. I know a lot of people will say, well, they couldn't have set this up for Slammiversary. Well, let's be honest. We have almost nothing going with Bram and nothing going with Eli Drake. At least Bram was not hurt by the match. Eli Drake gets the win, and I believe they have a couple of weeks left before they actually do Slammiversary. So I could be wrong about the time. You guys tell me below until Slammiversary comes up. I think they have 2 or 3 weeks left. They can do something with this. Build up into it. I'm glad to see this. The Jane Storm match with the Mr. Bennett, the Miracle. I know I could be talking about the toilet and the ref. I want to talk about this first. I'm glad to see James Storm doing something. But the problem I have is that he could be in the main title scene and they don't put him there. And this is one of my main gripes. He should be in the main title. Robert Roode is not there. We have very few people in the main title scene. It's only EC3. It's going to be Drew. It's going to be D. Lashley. Who else do we have that could be credible? James Storm is the only person left. So I really want to see something with him. Now getting back to the time of EC3, the hardcore American icon. I'm saying it that way. Mr. Fool Killer 99 calls him the, what does he call him? He calls it our Lord of Wrestling. I call him the great American icon. He's a great American and he's an icon. He's a great American icon and he did a great job as manager of TNA. He made the segments fresh and fun. He has an attitude. He has a personality that is very catching. He clearly makes this show feel good. And I'm very glad to see that. I'm glad to see that they gave him the reins for one night to spotlight his charisma, his charismatic attitude, and how well he can talk on the mic. He kind of reminds me of Kurt Angle in one respect, that Kurt was always very down to earth, and taking a cheat sheet out every time made it feel like he really wasn't the type to be a general manager. But when you look at EC3, he exudes general manager. He doesn't take no shit from nobody. He does what he needs to do. And he made Mike Bennett clean the toilets, doing number 4. What the hell is that? A piss, a shit, and a throw up? That's gotta be that. Because there's not much you can do. You got 3 openings on the body, ladies and gentlemen. 3. Your butt, your, well, penis or vaginal area for a lady, and your mouth. So that must be a number 4. I don't know what number 4 is. I don't know. Anyway, seeing him as a ref during the Tyrus and Spud bit, I'm glad to see Spud is with Tyrus, and I hope they let Spud talk for Tyrus because I felt Spud's great. But seeing him as a ref, he didn't give a fuck. He didn't want to do it. I'm fine with that. The match with Storm was good. He got his head knocked off his shoulders because of that. And EC3 did his little bit, which makes it even more apparent and more of an interesting storyline. So that makes 2 stories. You got EC3 and Mike Bennett. You got Drew and you got Lashley. You got Bram and you got Eli Drake. Now, here's the 4th one. The women's time. EC3 made it very clear for Sierra and what is her name? Ashley, who's Cherry Bomb, get the hell out of my ring so I can deal with Gail Kim and can deal with Maria. No problem. I've said this before and I say it again. I really am not interested in Maria. I'm just not. Having her as the head of the Knockouts division has not been very interesting for me personally. I've been glad they got rid of, well, like I said in my last video dealing with this, if Velvet Sky wants to try and go to WWE, she can, but I don't know if she's going to work out for the simple reason she's got to change her attitude and change her personality. I don't know if she can do that. You brought in Cherry Bomb, you brought in Sierra, you brought in Raquel. You now got the Rosemary. They spotlighted Jade in this situation because they did a tag team between her and Gail versus Sienna. And Ashley, I believe that's Cherry Bomb's name. And I gotta say this about Cherry Bomb. She sells it very good as an awkward woman who's never been in the ring. I'm alright seeing her like that. And sending her away for a little while after a certain amount of time, make believe that she needs to learn how to be in the ring, come back as she is, would be great. I'm just hoping her collarbone had healed properly, which I'm hoping it did. That might be one of the reasons why she was being very gentle in the ring. In the end, Jade does a, small package pile driver. Ooh, that looked like it would have hurt if she had hit her head straight. But in the end, Jade was the one who got the win. But I'm wondering what they're going to do with Jade with Slammiversary. If they do nothing with her, it's stupid. That is now 4. Count them, 4 feuds. The most weakest of those feuds, I believe, is Bram and Eli Drake. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks they'll be able to build it. The 5th and final feud will be Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. Now I know a lot of people don't like Matt like this. I know a lot of people are not interested. Fool Killer 99 is not interested. But let's be honest here. Seeing them use their own homes for this situation, seeing they had to use maybe a drone to do some of the work, actually was nice to see. It kind of made me feel like Lucha Underground. I think they might have taken some ideas from Lucha Underground and tweaked it to their own liking. And I felt that this was one of the best build-ups to something for a pay-per-view I've seen in a while from TNA. Now, I know that's, for some people, it'll be a stretch. But for me personally, seeing, even though that Matt is not one of the best people to do character development, he's just not very great. Like I've always said, Matt is a good wrestler. He does good character development. He does good promos. He doesn't do great. And this wasn't great. It was good from him. But in this case, even being good, I'm alright with this because they did it in a different setting. They didn't do it in Impact Zone. They did it in their own house. They did it in their own ring, in their own place. Remy, I can't get enough of that woman's body. She's a beautiful woman. I'm sorry. It's not like I have a woman like that. But in the end, seeing that Jeff and Matt were willing to do basically a nice slam off of a round table, which probably hurt Matt's back. Probably hurt Jeff's back. But in the end, it makes me feel interested in watching this feud on Slammiversary. I know it's not the strongest feud, but it's not meant to be. At least in my perspective. It just shows that TNA is progressing itself. Finally, they barely did anything on Spike. They barely did anything on, Destination America. But on Pop, we are getting an improvement. It's not a vast improvement, but it is an improvement, and I hope to continue. So I hope you enjoyed this Zane's view. Please give me a comment below. Please tell me if you want me to do SmackDown reviews. Because when July rolls around, I will be watching it, but I don't know if I want to do reviews on it. I need to know if people want to see it. I've been thinking about it. So tell me at the end of this. Have a good day and have a good night.